Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you a little bit about how to use something called a radial gradient. So I already applied it to this image and I'm going to go to my versions and I've got rid of this one. Although I'll show you the before and after. A little trick here, guys. If you're working on your image and you long hold, see that's the before. If I let go, that's the after. You can only do that on a touch screen. You can't do that on the computer. So let me click on one and I'm going to delete that version so I can redo it. Okay, so how do we get started? So I'll go back to original, apply. I'm going to go to my masking feature, and then I'm going to hit plus. And then I'm going to go to radial gradient. Now nothing shows up anywhere until you make it show up. So I'm going to create a circle by coming to the middle of my round area here, and I'm going to start to drag. And you can see there's my center point, and there's kind of my circle going out, and I can kind of decide how far out I want my circle to go. If after the fact I let go and I want to change this, I just come over to one of these little dots up here, and I can see I can wobble that and I can change it and change the size and do all kinds of lovely things to it. I can also over here, if you look carefully, I can change the feathering, so I can make it a really kind of harsh mask like that, or I can make it a smoother mask. I prefer smoother because, you know, unless I have like something where there's a really defined edge, I'm going to do something like that. And then I can decide just how I want to kind of play around with this. So for example, I'm going to go to exposure first and start to mess with this. I think I'll bring this down, make it a little darker, up my contrast, right? I'm just playing around with my image quality and giving it like some punch, right? I really want to make that stand out. And then I'll go to my color, and I think I'm just going to reduce my saturation, but actually I'll increase my saturation just a little bit and let that be. Okay, so here's the cool part. If I come back over here, I notice that if I long hold on this, I can duplicate my mask. So if you were like, wait, how did you do that? And if I also see, I can duplicate and invert it, which is nice because then what I could do is instead of having this area masked out, I can have this area around it masked out. So it's exactly the same mask, but it's inverted. So I'm going to click on that and see what happens. And look at what it gave me. It gave me the exact same mask, only it's the reverse of that. So if you're like, wait, how did you get that again? So let me delete that. So I'm going to long hold this again, delete it, go back to the original mask, long press, this pops up, duplicate and invert. Boom, there it is. So then now that I have that, I'll come up here. I think I'm going to deliberately like darken this, you know, make that background a little bit less descript. I think the color's a little distracting, so I'm going to come down to color and I'm going to reduce my saturation all the way down. So the only color I have is in this spot, or maybe just bump it up a little bit so it's not like super gone, but it's not super there. I can decide if I want to move this around and kind of highlight a little bit more of what's there. I can also reduce the feather a little bit so that part down here shows up, and I can hit done. And I'll go now to my versions, create a version, call it 1, right? And now I can see there's the after. Here I'll hit apply, before, after, before. Voila.